I'd like to bring this meeting to order. The Village of Villa Park Village Board of Trustees of March 28th, 2022. Clerk Kornecki, please call the roll.
Trustee Salella.
Here.
Trustee Corkery. Trustee Kozar.
Here.
Trustee Kumar. Trustee Murphy. Here. Trustee Patrick.
Here.
Trustee Cazone. I'm Trustee President Cazone.
Here.
Excuse me.
Okay, if we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and please stay standing afterwards. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together this evening. May we have meaningful discussions that will help us to assist our village in these trying times. Help us to make the decisions that will affect the staff, directors, and residents of Villa Park. Guide us through the challenges we face, and may we approach each other with respect and kindness as one group. In your name, amen. Okay, next item is public comments on agenda items. Clerk Kornecki, anyone signed up?
I have no one.
Okay, anyone in the audience? Okay, seeing none. Amendments to the agenda. Do we have any this evening? Okay, seeing none. The next item on the agenda is proclamations. We do not have one this evening. We will have one. This one got moved until the April 11th. The April 11th meeting, so there are no proclamations. Go to item 6, the consent agenda. Item 6A, minutes from the March 14th, 2022 Village Board meeting. And 6B, bill listings for the weeks of March 14th, 2022 and March 21st, 2022, in the total amount of $1,073,036.97. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Murphy, do we have a second? Second. Trustee Salella, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Trustee Patrick.
Yes.
Trustee Salella.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
President Cazone.
Yes. Okay, item 7, ordinances. There are no ordinances on the agenda this evening. And we will move to item 8A, a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, Dupage County, Illinois, approving a contract with Russo's Power Equipment, Inc. of Schiller Park, Illinois, through Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing for the purchase of a Kubota F2690 out front mower in the amount of $33,716.33. Manager Grah.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Parks Building and Grounds Department has identified a 2016 John Deere 1575 terrain cut out front mower for replacement. Staff requests authorization to purchase one Kubota F2690 out front mower with a cab, 6-foot mowing deck, and a 51-inch snow blower through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing. Russo's Power Equipment of Schiller Park, Illinois is the Kubota dealer and Sourcewell agent for this machine. The price for this machine is $33,716.33. Funds will be taken out of the equipment fund and capital outlay, account number 65-502-02401. The John Deere mower and equipment will be sold at public auction. And if you don't mind, Your Honor, I can provide maybe a little bit more information on this.
Sure.
While it's a 2016, we had the engine failure on this piece of equipment. And upon investigating the engine failure, we found that the engine needed to be replaced at a cost of about $25,000. So Parks staff had evaluated alternate options to that. And so while this maybe was not in our, it's identified for replacement in our existing schedule, we kind of coupled this with the next item to try to find maybe some alternate ways to utilize our existing budget to purchase a newer piece of equipment to replace that failed piece of equipment.
Good, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the item?
Make a motion.
Trustee Salella, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Trustee Murphy, any questions or comments? Trustee Kozar.
Does it not make sense to replace the engine for $25,000? I mean, it's, what, about $8,700 less?
If you mind, we can.
Yeah.
Thank you. We could replace the engine, but it seemed more feasible to get a new machine that didn't have the age of the old machine Plus, we got a new snow blower and a new mower deck with it. So all the components for this new one were new as compared to the approximately 25,000 it would cost to replace the engine itself.
Okay.
Do we know what the auction price would be on this, roughly? What we get for it?
I'm not sure, no. The mower itself doesn't work either, so I'm not sure where it
Okay.
would come in at.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornicki, please.
Okay, trustee, let me see, trustee Kumar,
Yes.
trustee Kozar,
Yes.
trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Salella.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Okay, move on to item 8B, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, Dupage County, Illinois, approving a contract with Russo's Power Equipment, Inc. of Schiller Park, Illinois, through Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing for the purchase of a Kubota L6060 tractor in the amount of $58,827.59. Clerk Guerrero.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Parks Building and Grounds Department has identified a 1998 New Holland tractor for replacement. Staff requests authorization to purchase one Kubota L606 HSTC tractor with front loader, backhoe, snow pusher, and rear weight box. The equipment would be purchased through the pre-bid Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing. Russo Power Equipment of Schiller Park, Illinois is the Kubota dealer and Sourcewell agent for this machine. The price of the machine is $58,827.59. Funds have been budgeted from the Equipment Fund Capital Outlay and account number 65-502-02401. And then the New Holland tractor will be sold at public auction as well.
Thank you. Okay, do you have a motion? Trustee Salella, we have a second?
I'll second that.
Trustee Murphy? Any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornicki.
Okay, trustee Kozar,
Yes.
trustee Kumar,
Yes.
trustee Patrick.
Yes.
Trustee Salella.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Move on to item 8C, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, Dupage County, Illinois, approving the joint purchase of bulk rock salt through the State of Illinois Central Management Services Bureau of Strategic Sourcing. Andrew Guerrero.
Thank you. The village annually purchases rock salt through an agreement with Illinois Department of Central Management Services, otherwise known as CMS. The state of Illinois generally receives favorable bid prices due to the large quantity of salt that it purchases. The village must submit its rock salt needs through a contract with the state of Illinois. Rock salt is a budget expense every year, and however, the exact price will not be known until the bidding process is complete. We anticipate that it will be approximately $80 per ton. Staff recommends entering into a contract with the state of Illinois for up to 800 tons of bulk rock salt. Funding has been budgeted for this purchase in the Street Maintenance Fund, account number 10-525-27-341.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Trustee Murphy? Any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornicki, please.
Trustee Salella.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Patrick.
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to item 8D. Resolution of the Village of Villa Park, Dupage County, Illinois, approving the joint purchase of bulk rock salt through the Dupage County Procurement Services Division. Andrew Guerrero.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is conjunction with the last item where we will utilize also DuPage County Procurement Service Divisions to purchase our rock salt for the year to allow us to have a couple different vendors available in case of need for the winter. DuPage County generally receives also favorable prices due to the large quantity of salt that it purchases. A contract with the DuPage County Procurement Service Division for the purchase of 800 tons of bulk rock salt is recommended. Rock salt is budgeted expense and is estimated to cost an anticipated cost of $80 per ton. Funding has been budgeted for this purchase in the Street Maintenance Fund, account number 10-525-27-341.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Trustee Salella? Questions or comments? Trustee Kozar?
So 7D and 7C are basically the same. We're just approving two different sources to potentially purchase the rock salt from, and then whoever has the better price, presumably that's who we're getting it from? Is that right?
Typically, we utilize about 1,600 tons, so we like to split our
Eight.
purchase in
Okay.
half so that we can purchase from either vendor up to 800 tons. But typically, we're in the range of about 1,600 tons, so we kind of split the purchase between the two to allow us to have a little bit of flexibility in case one vendor is unavailable at a certain time, we can have two contracts.
So then would it make sense not to do this for 1,600 tons on each one, and then just buy, based on who has the lower price?
Unfortunately, with these contracts, we have to guarantee a certain percentage. We have to guarantee that we'll purchase 80% typically.
Got it.
So that's why we don't do that option. Both options, I probably should have pointed this out, so I apologize. But for the state, we can purchase up to 120% of our 800 tons
Okay.
we put in. And then with the Dupage County, we can purchase up to 130%. So operationally, if one is more favorable, we'll purchase up to that maximum amount of quantity from one and maybe deduct that quantity from the other one and purchase like 90% instead of the 100% of 800 tons.
All right, understood. Thank you.
And typically, they're fairly close in price, though, aren't they, normally, typically?
Typically, yes. This last year that we've seen, the state was a little bit lower, or substantially lower. So we've been purchasing 120% from the state and then purchasing the minimum amount as needed from the county.
Good, thank you. Okay, any other questions? Clerk Renecki, please.
Okay, trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Kozar,
Yes.
trustee Kumar,
Yes.
trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Stalella.
Yes.
President Kazal.
Yes. Item 8E, a resolution to approve and authorize the execution of a professional engineering services agreement by and between RJN Group, Inc. and the Village of Villa Park for the 2022 Sanitary Sewer Evaluation Services, the SSES, and hydraulic modeling in an amount not to exceed $149,865. We have a motion for the resolution. Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Trustee Salala? Any questions or comments? Trustee Kozar?
So the 150,000 is merely to inspect it? They're not doing any sort of construction or anything like that? It's just to have a look at it?
So the $150,000 is broken into 3 different tasks for this agreement. The first task would be to put in 10 flow meters throughout the community in our sanitary or separated sanitary sewer. This was done in 2008, so we are pretty much going back in the same locations to monitor the effectiveness of all the improvements that we've made in that 2008 sewer master plan. From that flow data, that will be out there for 90 days. So we got to rent and monitor the flow meters for 90 days. They'll take that information and then rebuild our hydraulic model. The hydraulic model will then be able to analyze the capacity of the sewer and how much capacity we have left remaining in that sewer, which is kind of critical with the proposed developments that are occurring in our community. We want to know where our limitations are at, how well has those improvements that or how effective those improvements that we've put in, lining the sewers in the northern part, the southern part, some lift station improvements. And then the final one would be to inspect, I believe, 149 manholes. As we've lined the sewers, we now are finding that a lot of this is to help identify our inflow and infiltration into our sanitary sewer, or clean groundwater, which is then, taking capacity away from our sewers. And we're finding that as we line the sewers, we now have weak spots in our manholes, and that water is infiltrating through our manholes. And what are the conditions of our manholes? Do we need to start addressing our manholes as well? And so what they'll do is take all this information and then help repopulate next year, because this is going to take several months, probably the remainder of the year, to complete this portion, to update our master plan, to identify the new needs of our system, some new master planning in terms of where we should target our efforts in terms of lining and improvements that are needed, along with any improvements that we need for capacity so that any future development, we can be prepared in our master plan. So unfortunately, there's no construction with this, but it's redoing a 10-year-old plan that's now 14 years old, evaluating the effectiveness that we've already done, and then what do we need to do now that we've done some of that.
Okay. where will that plan be once they complete it? Like, how does the public access that, or if anybody wants to kind of see what that's all about?
So we put our plans up on our website. Unfortunately, I know our website's not the or it's not the easiest to navigate. So the 2008 Sanitary Sewer Master Plan is loaded on our website under engineering planning documents. We probably do need to do some updating to make it a little bit easier to find, but almost all of our studies we like to publish on our website so that anybody from the village can access that and see what those plans are.
Okay, so just repeat that. Where would I find it on the website?
I think if you have to click through, the easiest would be if you go to the departments, Public Works, Engineering, and then Planning Documents. And then there you'll find, I believe on that has a lot of our stormwater drainage master plans, our sanitary master plans, and a lot of the studies that we've completed that are still being utilized by the Public Works departments on that website.
And when this report is done, it'll be on there as
It'll
well.
be uploaded onto that site as well.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Trustee Murphy?
I just have a comment based on a preliminary board meeting conversation with Director Guerrera, because again, we look at the number and it does look quite large from a financial perspective. 2 points that we discussed during our meeting that I thought made it well worth the cost of the consultation. One is that it sounds as though as part of this, they are also going to assess and provide us with status of our current locations that are still having flooding and water issues, which I think is absolutely instrumental as we continue to work through some of these things. There's 1 or 2 spots that are having problems now that weren't before, so it's worth getting their perspective on how they're feeling about those locations. And additionally, I believe they're going to assess our new construction areas, which would be, for example, Garden Station and the new apartments on Villa. So we're trying in an effort to get in front of these new construction locations to avoid unnecessary complications. So I think those 2 components in and of themselves, in addition to all the other work being done, help to lessen the perspective on that large expenditure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments? Seeing none, Clerk Kornecki, please.
Okay, Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Kozar,
Yes.
Trustee Kumar,
Yes.
Trustee Silella.
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. And with that, we'll go to item 9, public comments on non-agenda items. Clerk Kornecki?
I have
No
no
one
one.
signed up? Anyone in the audience? Okay. But item 10, village clerk's report.
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
Village trustees report, and we'll start on my right tonight. Trustee Patrick.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Just wanted to say thank you all for showing your support for Ukraine. A large social media presence out there. It's amazing. I'm seeing ribbons around trees, signs in yards. Even people are pitching in all around town, local businesses, Ace Hardware, even to the police department. So I want to thank everybody for showing their support for Ukraine. They definitely need it in this hard time. On a lighter note, I'd like to talk to you about the Villa Park Cable Commission. Today, they finished wrapping up their very first episode of a new program that's going to be out on AT&T Uverse Channel 99 and Comcast Channel 6. The show is called Now You Know, hosted by Leslie Allison CI. Today, we were filming at Crazy Pour in Villa Park, right off of North Avenue. And we were able to interview local celebrity Matt Kassane from Second City, from Chicago Med, and it was a great time that we had there. But we are looking for suggestions on what you would like to know more about, who you would like to know more about, any kind of businesses, any individuals in town. Let us know. So that way we can get out there and interview them and get you guys a show to watch on that channel. But within the next week or so, you guys should be able to see the new production that's come out, and we hope you like it. Thank you.
Do you have a date on that yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Today was just the wrapping up of the filming.
Okay.
So probably within a week, we'll have the final product out.
Great. Okay, thank you. Trustee Kozar.
Last meeting, we talked about some landscaping, trees and whatnot over on the Wildwood area. Where's our progress on that?
So our trees, we typically purchase in the beginning of April and plant them in the middle of April around Arbor Day.
Okay.
So I know Public Works staff has gone out and evaluated that area for locations. I believe we've had contact with I know her first name is Mary. I can't remember her last name at this moment, so I apologize for using her first name. And we made contact with her. I think she requested a tree at that location, so I know that's the location. I think we've identified maybe one other or two other locations. So we're in the process of contacting nursery, getting pricing in our normal operations, and that location will be included with our April plannings.
Looking mid to late April?
Mid to late April, typically. It's usually around Arbor Day is when we plant most of our trees.
Great.
For the spring planting, I should say.
And then secondly, you were working on a white paper for committee of the whole.
Yes, I am wrapping that up. That should be out to you guys. I'm just working on some of the formatting and some corrections on that to get that information. I know I've been talking with legal counsel and President Kazone. Obviously, I know we're in the middle of a manager search, so that would be probably a good transition time, but get that information out to the board with regards to what other communities do in the surrounding area in terms of dates. Do they do it before meetings, after meetings, off Mondays? A lot of them talk about some future agenda items or how you want to do it. So there's a lot of different kind of possibilities for the policy that the board would want to evaluate. So I should have that out to you shortly. Unfortunately, we're a little short-staffed the last several days with spring break, so I apologize on the delay on that one.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to kind of get an idea when you thought that would be out. So you're thinking within the next week or so?
Yes.
Great. And then what was decided in terms of the board getting together to have a public conversation upon what they're looking for in a manager? I think Deepa had brought that up last.
It's April 6th at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, we have a meeting scheduled for April 4th. I was gonna bring that up in.
April 4 or 6?
April,
April
4th.
Fourth.
4th at
Okay.
6 o'clock.
4.
Yep.
Well, good to know.
And I'm assuming that'll be here
Yes, correct.
and it'll be open. It's a open
We have
meeting.
an open meeting, and then the board will go into executive session. There'll be representatives from GovHR here to go over the process, and I believe they'll have some candidates. There'll be discussion on the candidates, some of the candidates that they've gotten.
All right.
Okay.
Great. Thank you. That's all.
Trustee Salala?
No report this evening.
Okay. Trustee Kumar?
Yes, well, I wanted to announce that, well, I thought April 6th meeting, but it's apparently April 4th at 6 o'clock meeting. And I want people from the village, anyone to come out to give their ideas on what they suggest. I know there are different components to choosing a manager. It's not the only component, but there are people from in this village who are from other towns who have experience. I want their input. There are people in this village who have always been participating in our village matters. Yeah, it's just good for a new manager to see what our village expects in a manager. So I think getting some people out to have a good discussion will be helpful in that sense as well. I am very happy to hear that you guys are considering the committee of a whole and working on the committee of a whole process. I do have a suggestion possibly for what we discuss on those days and how that happens. As I said, and I've been discussing with a very prominent member of our town for a very long time, Bob Wagner, brought to my attention the fact that there's a 2021 climate action plan, and the village that has been put together in the Chicago area, and it's one of the few areas that have such a plan in process. I think this would be a great topic to start, let's say, another committee of the whole, just to see how we can implement parts of that plan. It's a good start. You can look it up. It's the 2021 Climate Action Plan. There are very simple things that can be done as a village in order to improve our carbon footprint, basically. And it's as simple as maybe walking one day a week to the grocery store and getting your groceries and not taking your car. So we could do things like that, small things. And I think the suggestions by people in this village would be very helpful in the start of the process to get this discussion started and implement that particular plan. That being said, we are very lucky. As I said, the Economic Development Board has been very active lately. We have a lot of things going on in town, a lot of new projects, Garden Station, as well as the building on Villa Avenue, the new project coming up with that, as well as our new community center, which is coming up, which is going to relate to the economic aspect of our village at this point. We have a lot of development going on in North Avenue, which was a sore spot in our village. There's just a lot of new things coming up there as well. New businesses opening up, and just keep your eye out, support our new businesses, get out there, join Yes Villa Park, be a part of it. Now, also, we are putting together a possible series of kind of a business forum for business people to come together. The topics will be suggested by our local businesses, what they'd like to hear about, what their problems are. We will start off with all sectors and maybe do sector by sector business forums as we go on. This was a suggestion made a couple of years ago, and finally it's getting implemented post COVID. And I know some of the other trustees brought this to the Economic Development Board before. So I'm very happy about that as well. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Murphy.
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
Okay. Trustee Corkery was not feeling well today, but he did have a couple things that he texted me that he would like to be brought up, that he would have had in his message. The Metro Safety Blitz is scheduled for April 13th from 5:30 a.m. until after the morning rush, around 9 a.m. It will be attended by railroad officials, Operation Lifesaver personnel, volunteers, and possibly the press. Villa Park Police and local volunteers would be appreciated. Volunteers are asked not to wear orange safety vests, as trains are required to whistle a warning to anyone who may be railroad maintenance workers. The manager of the station coffee shop has agreed to open early. With higher gas prices and hybrid work schedules for downtown office workers, it should bring ridership back to near pre-COVID levels. Secondly, the Environmental Concerns Commission may organize a cleanup on or near April 9th, but it has not been confirmed. I know I did speak to Manager Guerrera about that, and so the station will get cleaned up before the 13th. And from the Fund Commission, the Villa Park Fund Commission is excited to announce that the annual Earth Day Trail Cleanup is back this year. Please join us on Saturday, April 23rd between 9 a.m. and noon to help clean up the Prairie Path in Villa Park. We will meet at the Villa Park Historical Museum Pavilion. We will supply garbage bags, gloves, snacks, and water. We appreciate you coming out to join us. Reach out to pride@invillapark.com for more information. And with that, we will go to the village president's report, and I have a couple things tonight. Our annual spring sweep, which is also the Villa Park Fund Commission, along with the Environmental Concerns Commission, will be again this year, May 21st, which is the third Saturday in May, from 9 to 12. It'll be along Home Avenue. The schedule will be about the same as far as the vendors that will be there. I think they're going to get switched around a little bit. We have, I think, one new one, and we're moving some of the locations, but it'll be along Home Avenue. There'll be maps that'll be set up the same as last year, and that's always a great deal for cleaning up your homes. As Trustee Kumar brought up, we will have a meeting next Monday, April 4th at 6 o'clock to discuss the new manager. Public input is welcome if they'd like to be here. 6 o'clock, and then the board will go into executive session after that and speak with GovHR, who is handling the search for new manager. Hawthorne Development, the Garden Station development. A lot of people have seen there is some work that's starting to get done there. The services, sanitary and water services have been disconnected. I think they were waiting for NICOR, the last, to shut off one of the buildings, and so demolition will start there fairly soon. So it'll be nice to see some progress there, and hopefully that'll get moving pretty soon. The Union Pacific crossing at Villa Avenue will be worked on from April 11th and on April 11th and April 12th. So that will be closed off. There will be detour signs that are set up there. Hopefully 2 days. They'll be
All week.
Oh, what's that? Oh, the 11th to the 21st. Oh, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. Okay, April 11th through the 21st. So that'll be shut down for a good 10 days there. So there will be detours around that, in that area, so you have to watch out for that. Yard waste collection will begin on April 4th. So get all your yard waste bags going. You do have to have stickers, though. Make sure you purchase the stickers, or otherwise they won't pick those up. And Casey's Construction, where the old junkyard was on North Avenue, it looks like they will begin hopefully in May. I think everyone knows that Buc-ee's was the original developer there, and then they got bought out by Casey's, so that delayed a lot of things. And I think all the plans are in right now and getting finalized, and hopefully they'll be starting in May. They are hoping for a September opening, so that'll be nice to get that done. And April Coffee with the Board will be held on April 2nd up here in the meeting room here, 9 o'clock. And as usual, we'll welcome anybody to come and give their comments. And that's all I have. And with that, we'll go to the village manager's report.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just have a few items. Just to provide an update on our bonds for the Lions Recreation Facility. They are finalized, and they'll be done tomorrow. And then we'll get the actual infusion of cash into our coffers tomorrow afternoon. So the bonds have been finalized. Will be finalized tomorrow, but that is in the process. Additionally, talking about the Lions Park Recreation Facility, I know Parks has been working on the application along with Williams. I think we have everything uploaded. We're just going to give it a once-over tomorrow, make sure everything looks correct, and then that will be submitted off to the DNR. Thank you. Additionally, I know there's been some people have noticed there was a survey going on at Lufkin. What that is we've been having some conversations with the county. The county's looking at a possible stormwater management project within our community, utilizing their COVID ARP funds or ARP funds. As that's just one of the last items in the Sugar Creek Drainage Basin plan that was developed several years ago. So they may utilize some of their funding and partner with the village to expand and dredge that pond. I know Parks and Public Works kind of work together on their Auslan grant to make sure that one didn't kind of interfere with the other, and that they could coexist nicely. So that shouldn't be a fear, but that's what was occurring. Unfortunately, the county only gave us a few days head notice as they're working on that. But we have no official agreement in terms of any sort of grant funding or anything like that. It's just what they've been looking at. And additionally, if you don't mind, I can call Director Golo up to the stand. He has an update on our Auslan grant, as I know that's kind of been out there for a while as well.
Good evening. Thank you, Manager Guerrero. Typically, what happens with the OSLAG grants, the submission was the 1st of August, and usually by November, one of their grant administrators comes out and meets with staff, and we review the project, and they get a feel for the project before if you make it to the second step is going down to Springfield and doing a 3-minute presentation to the DNR. Well, the DNR is so short-staffed that they haven't even reviewed anybody's grant applications, or they're way behind on reviewing. So about 2 weeks ago, we got a notice that instead of grant administrators coming out because of the short staffing problem, that they wanted the different grantees or potential grantees just to submit a synopsis or a summary of the project, and then they're going to review that summary. So it was all done electronically. And so what we did was we did a short paragraph on the history of Lufkin. We showed the pool, and and that we lost a great amenity due to the age. And then we showed the vacant lot or vacant area. And then we also showed what's going to go in potentially with help from the grant. So all the 9 or 10 different amenities that we wish to put in. A picture's worth 1,000 words, so we just sent pictures of those amenities. And hopefully it's a nice short process for them to review and then give us a grant. The grant, they said that the grant awards will probably be at the end of summer, but probably more likely fall. And then the grant would be awarded the following year. So they're about a year behind. So with that, if anybody has any questions, we're happy to get some notification. We've been kind of on them, what's happening, because they're so far behind. So finally, we got some notification a few weeks ago. So it's a good thing.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Questions?
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you. Fingers crossed.
That's all I can-
That's all, yeah, okay. Perfect. Okay, item 14, executive session, item 14A, pursuant to the general provisions of the Open Meetings Act, 5 ILCS/120C6, the setting of a price for sale or lease of property owned by the public body. Do we have a motion for executive session? Trustee Kumar?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that second.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Clerk Konecki?
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Kozar,
Yes.
trustee Salella.
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Kumar,
Yes.
President Kazel.
Yes. And with that, we will be going into executive session. We will adjourn out of executive session. So our meeting will be done here. We will see you next week, April 4th, for an open meeting, and then again, we'll go back in executive session. So everyone have a great week. Hopefully the weather will start warming up like spring should be. Thank you.